okay? Do not be shocked is what I'm telling everybody. Again, NorCal Sports Network, breaking it to you first. Nobody talks this way. I try to be ahead of everything. That's how I just think. I think down the road. But don't be shocked if the Giants start selling. You've heard me say it before. And yes, that means veterans that the Giants have signed in the last recently couple years with no trade clauses. My prediction is Matt Chapman would be the first domino, or possibly a Logan Webb, depending on what's really happening, because Webb can bring you a lot in return. A lot. You can actually trade Logan Webb. I wouldn't even have a problem trading him to the Dodgers. You could go, I don't know if the Giants would do it or if the Dodgers would not do it, but the Dodgers are in on Freddie Peralta, guys. They can take Freddie Peralta and just use him. He's making $8 million. They want a baby Yamamoto and Snell and Glasnow. They want to baby those guys. Snell could have pitched last year with that shoulder. He could have worked through it, but they didn't need to. They have the luxury of just sitting back because they're getting in the playoffs, so they go in fully healthy to the playoffs. But Freddie Peralta, he's an innings eater guy. And so the rumors out there right now is that Freddie Peralta is going to end up in a LA Dodgers uniform via trade. The Dodgers have the assets to do that. Why don't the Giants beat them to it? Why don't the Giants offer Logan Webb to the Dodgers for Emmett Sheehan and Roki Sasaki? That fits the trade machine. Logan Webb's value is 70 right now, and Sasaki and Sheehan combined for 74. So it's really close. But would the Dodgers do that? I don't think the Giants would have the guts to do it, but why would I do it? Because it gives me two younger pitchers to build on in my timeline, because I think the Giants' timeline is still about 2 to 4 years away toward the end of this decade. They have assets that are coming, and as these guys get into the farm years, as they bump up in levels, and if they succeed at these levels, their trade values just skyrocket, okay? So I said Matt Chapman would be the first domino to fall. They will try to convince him to waive his no-trade clause. They will give him control of where he goes. That's why players love no-trade clauses. Not because you can't trade him. You just traded Nolan Arenado, St. Louis, and he accepted it to go to the Diamondbacks, right? So imagine Chapman gets to go to a contender in an area. What happens if he got to go to the Dodgers or, the Yankees? I don't know what Chapman would be thinking, but he keeps his no-trade clause and he has control. They would move his contract, not because they hate him, but because it makes sense. If they are not in contention, why would they keep running it back with these same guys? As they get older and older, their value declines. You might have to, you're either going to trade Chapman and get nothing back in terms of prospects if a team's willing to take on his contract, or the Giants are going to have to pay a portion of it, and they could probably get some really good prospects for a Chapman if they were willing to pay a very solid amount of his contract. Okay. So let me leave you with this. Why are Giants fans so afraid of rebuilds? Would you rather spin in place at 500 forever? This is going to be year 10, everybody, of not having a winning season if the Giants fail to get more than 81 wins. This is going to be year 9 of 10. Think about that. One winning season since 2017. 2016 was the end of the era. They lost to the Cubs in that thrilling series that went 4 games. Could have went 5, but they didn't have a bullpen, and they couldn't close out the Cubs in the 9th. Ended up going, extra innings, and they lost. Cubs went on to win the World Series. And then the Giants have been just a disaster ever since, minus the 2021 season where everything just went magically, just unreal, right? So would you rather spin in place at 500 forever or endure pain with a purpose? This team is not awful, but it's not a true World Series championship contender. You got to know where you stand. You got to know what you have. Oh, can we get in the playoffs? Yeah. At what cost? Are we going to get bounced out? Are we going to trade some prospects just to get into the playoffs and get bounced? Pretending otherwise is how you stay stuck. So it's draft, develop, get younger, and selectively. You have to add selectively to your team, right? Giants did that wonderful. They made trades in the championship years. They added a trade in Hunter Pence. He helped win them 2 World Series titles in 12 and 14. You had Scudero. You had there's a couple other ones that come to my mind, but all of a sudden I'm drawing a blank. Our left fielder in the 2010 that was hitting home runs. You know who I'm talking about. You'll comment in the comment section. It's just slipping my mind right now as I record this. So, but as I say, it's the only way the Giants ever won, guys. They didn't win by going out and spending tons of big money. They drafted, developed, and filled holes where needed at the trade deadline. All right. That's whether the Giants fans like it or not. I believe that's where the Giants are going. So drop your thoughts below. Agree, disagree. I want to hear it. I want to know what you think. This is NorCal Sports Network. And once again, we're telling you what others won't. We've been doing this. I think if you watch us long enough, we bring you honest takes and no hyperbole, no hype. We are not Giants homers. Look, been a Giants fan, as I said, since '68, probably longer than anybody in the media that's following the Giants. I've seen it all. I'm not an apologist for their horrible years. And I'm also, I'm not going to sit here and tell you they're great when they're not. When I think they're going in the right direction. Look, is this a rebuild? I think it is. I could be wrong easily. This is just my own conclusion. Okay. Kelly, senior softball games. He's on the same table with me. We've talked about this. I think, he shared some things with me that I think have convinced me as I was leaning this way myself. Look, we've been talking about pick a lane for how long, right? Pick a lane, Giants fans. Giants team ownership, World Series or bust or rebuild. But going in the middle, and the Giants have been in the middle, right? Been in the middle. Oh, I forgot to show you some rosters, didn't I? I was going to show you a roster real quick, guys. How about this 1972 Giants roster? Oops, that didn't pull it up there. I apologize. That gives me something else I got to take it to. Maybe I need to go. Let me pull up the 76 roster. 76 roster had some decent players on it, kind of like today's Giants. Got some, look, there's the pitching staff. Jim Barr, Mike Caldwell, the lefty that was traded to San Diego, came from San Diego for Willie McCovey. John D'Acquisto, he was one of my favorites growing up. Ed Halicki, I listened to him throw a no-hitter. Bob Knepper, what a pitcher he was, a lefty. Loved that guy. Gary Lavelle, Greg Minton, two really good guys back in the bullpen. Randy Moffett, Billie Jean King's brother, and the Count, John Montefusco, number 26, my favorite player as a 15-year-old kid. Loved to emulate him on the pitching mound when I played. Catcher, there, nothing great, but Dave Rader, Mark Hill. Dave Rader was kind of like he was a little lefty guy, 5'11", Mike Sadik. But Rader kind of reminded me a little bit of Patrick Bailey from the left side. Infielders, Darrell Evans. That guy was a bopper. Came over from Atlanta. Johnny LeMaster, he was the former number 1 pick. Willie Montanez. I loved him when he was with the Philadelphia Phillies. Ken Ken Reitz, he came over from St. Louis. Chris Spire, great shortstop, came up with the Giants. Darryl Thomas, the speedy second baseman. You had some decent players, okay? 1976 San Francisco Giants outfielders. Jack Clark and Larry Herndon, loved both those guys. Clark, Herndon, I believe, came over from Detroit, if I'm not mistaken, but Jack Clark was homegrown. Von Joshua used to be with the Dodgers. I believe he won a batting title or really came close to winning a batting title with the Giants. Gary Matthews Sr., the Sarge, there he was. And then Bobby Mercer just came over from a trade for Bobby Bonds the year earlier, and Gary Thomason. All right. Hey, look, I thought that team, and when I was 15 years old, I looked at this team. Hey, they got solid players. This team is really going to go places. This is a winning team. And you know what that team did? 1976, they were 74-88. Okay. So what am I saying? I'm saying that a lot of these teams have good players. Willie Montanez was a really good left-handed hitting first baseman. But this is where the Giants are. They weren't the Giants, that 76 team, no real stars. Jack Clark would go on to become kind of a star. Gary Matthews, he was good. Bobby Mercer, he kind of was washed up, in my opinion. I would have rather kept Bobby Bonds. But the pitching staff, you know, you had Montefiusco and D'Acquisto and Halicki and Nepper, young, good pitching staff. Did not win games, right? Look at this again, 76. They went 74-88, 77, 75-87. 78 season, they competed. The Dodgers ended up beating them out. But look, 79, 80, not good seasons. This has been the Giants for many, many years. So everybody's saying, come on, this is the San Francisco Giants. You need to do something. Look, the Giants got 3 World Series championships, and they were fortunate, okay? Why did they do it? It's because they had the best pitching staff in baseball. They had the best manager in baseball, and they had the best catcher in baseball, and they had solid core around them. They had Panda at third, and Crawford there at short, Joe Panik, Brandon Belt. This was a group of nucleus, not superstars, but you had elite pitching, you had a great bullpen, and they were able to, you know, move guys around through some of the trades that they had made. And that's how you win. That's all I'm saying. And I think that's where the Giants are going. They're not going to get superstar free agents. Don't even think about it. If anybody tells you, oh, they can get these guys, sorry, not happening. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know your comments below. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care, everybody.